Good afternoon, everyone. So, every institution dreams of growth, but sustainable growth never happens by chance. It happens when vision is backed by planning and aspirations are translated into clear long term action. With this thought, I warmly welcome you all to today's webinar on Institutional Development Plan IDP. I'm Smriti from Team Luneblaze, and it's truly a pleasure to have our community of educators, academic leaders, and quality practitioners join us today under the NAAC Insight series. Thank you all for being here and for your continued commitment to strengthening quality in higher education. In today's rapidly evolving academic environment, institutions are expected not only to perform actively uh, and effectively in the present, but also to plan strategically for the future. This is where the institutional development plans become a powerful and essential tool. An IDP acts as a structured roadmap that helps institutions translate their vision and mission into long-term achievable goals. Moving ahead, I think my okay, yeah. All right. So moving ahead, a quick word about Luneblaze. So with 9+ years of, experience in accreditation of working with 50+ colleges, we focus on exactly what an institutional development plans demand. Structured workflows, clear documentation, regular reviews, faculty capacity building, and continuous quality support. With that well said, we do organize the regular webinars. These webinars are focused to support the educators in understanding and implementing the key quality frameworks. These webinar offers access to expert guidance from experienced professionals who have worked extensively under various domains of NAAC and quality assurance. Practical suggestions and actionable insights and the strategies for improvement across the criteria and domains, helping institutions strengthen their documentation and processes. And most importantly, an opportunity to connect with a vibrant community of educators to share experiences, exchange ideas, and learn collaboratively. Each of these sessions is a part of a monthly NAAC trainings and certification series, which aims to continuously, enhance the quality, both structured and achievable for the educators and the institutions alike. So let's move ahead and welcome our esteemed speaker for today's webinar, Dr. Asha Rajiv. Dr. Asha Rajiv is a distinguished academic leader and a NAAC peer team member. Currently, she is serving as the director of IQAC and School of Sciences at the Jain University. She brings with a rich experience in institutional quality assurance, accreditation processes, and strategic academic planning. With her deep understanding of NAAC frameworks, IQAC functioning, and the institutional governance, Dr. Rajiv has guided the institutions in aligning their visions, mission, and long-term goals through structured and sustainable quality practices. Her expertise lies in translating accreditation requirements into more practical suggestions, helping institutions to practically, develop their systems, particularly in areas such as institutional development planning, internal quality mechanisms, and the continuous improvement strategies. What truly distinguishes her work is her ability to bridge the policy expectations with on-ground implementations, helping institutions move beyond documentation toward meaningful, measurable, and impact-driven development. We are truly honored to have Dr. Asha Rajiv with us today as she shares her valuable insights on institutional development planning and guide us all on how institutions can design and implement an effective IDP to support long-term growth and quality enhancement. So before we begin, handing over this webinar to Dr. Asha, let's first see what we all have, in this webinar today. So we will first begin with understanding the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) with their relevance to higher education institutions. This will be followed by an introduction to the IDP, where we will explore its purpose and significance in long-term institutional growth. Next, we will be discussing the key enablers of an effective IDP, followed by an understanding of SWOT analysis as a foundational tool for strategic planning. We will then move on how institutional goals can be made specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant time bound, ensuring that planning translates into action. This will be followed by a question answers round, giving you all an opportunity to seek clarifications on IDP framework so discussed so far. After the conclusion of IDP segment, we will take a broader perspective with a quick recap on the NAAC, including NAAC accreditation is mandatory and a comparison between the old NAAC system and the upcoming binary framework. We will also briefly touch upon how Luneblaze assists colleges in NAAC implementation, followed by an overview of NAAC, the webinar series. We will conclude the session with the final Q&A, addressing any remaining questions from you all. And there we'll also give you a chance to speak to Dr. Asha. Currently, your mic will be on mute. Now, it's my pleasure to hand over the session to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Asha Rajiv, to guide us all through the institutional development planning in strengthening institutional quality and sustainability. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Smriti, for this warm introduction. It's first of all, at the outset, I would like to thank Luneblaze for actually giving me an opportunity to talk on the very important topic, that is the institutional development plan. So before I start with the institutional development plan, as we are all aware of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which we talk about, are a set of 17 global goals, which we know, which was adopted by the United Nations in 2015. But with the introduction of NEP, this SDGs has become very, very, it is not that SDGs are not important. Everything, whatever we talk about, we talk in terms of sustainable. If it should be sustainable, otherwise there is no use of doing what we are doing. When we talk about this SDGs, out of the 17 sustainable goals as listed in this slide, we can see that the fourth one, as IQAC coordinators, it plays a very important role for us. That is imparting the education. That is the quality education, that is very, very important. So education is both a goal and it is also the key driver for achieving all other SDGs. Without education, we won't be able to achieve all other SDGs, because it helps education institutions deliver what exactly we want is in terms of socially responsible graduates, strengthened quality education. And that is where we give the lifelong learning opportunities for all the students. And whatever we are doing, it is for the education per se only. So that is what is the main goal, that is SDGs. And as per the NEP, also the SDG is one of the most important thing which we should have it in our mind when we go ahead. So at the SDG 4 will be directly have an impact on us because of the quality education, and based on that only the entire all other SDGs revolve around. Without education, we cannot attain whatever, whether it is the gender sensitization or anything. So education plays the key role, that is the SDG 4. Next slide. Smriti, next slide. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Now, when I talk about IDP, why need? We all will be thinking, why? Because we always, in the NEP, the main focus is on OBE, outcome-based education. We talk about COs, POs, attainment. We are all grappling with that, and that is given importance. But the main thing which we have to look into is the IDP, which we have been ignoring. And that forms the basis for all the institutional development, because it brings from vision to action. That is what an IDP does. And it helps us to be as a future-ready institution. Why we are, what our main aim is that our institution should be a renowned one. It should be known pan-India, globally we known. That itself, that is the main aim of any individual, any faculty, or any the coordinators, or as a vice chancellor of any institution. So the whoever are the office bearers of that, their main aim is that our institution should be renowned one. That is what we mainly think about. So in order for that, what way an IDP plays the role? What is that? If you all remember, as academicians, for any NAAC, previous NAAC, this one prior to 2017, we used to talk about as perspective plan. After that, we used to talk about as strategic plan. Till the recent NAAC, which was the new boundary manual, has not come. Before that, we used to always present our strategic plan. Whenever the peer team used to come, or in our this manual also, we used to have a strategic plan, because based on the vision and mission of our university, of our institution, of our school, whatever mission we have, vision and mission of that institution which has been developed. Based on that, we used to have a strategic plan. We used to have a perspective plan prior to that. And now we talk in terms of IDP. So let me give this, what is the difference between the three? What is an IDP? What is a strategic plan? What is a perspective plan? See, perspective plan, when we talk about in a term of long period. Perspective, our perception is there, like that we talked. In the same way, it is that perspective is for a longer period. Strategic plan, when we talk about, it is for a period of 0 to 5 years, like that we medium term we talk about. But institutional development plan, it covers short term, it covers medium, it covers also the long term. And it is one of the most important document which is needed for the upcoming NAAC by the manual, whichever we are going to prepare. It is going to be one of the most important document which we have to prepare at the earliest if you're going for, whenever we are going for NAAC. So I will just give an example and short story and tell you. One of the university, they had one barren piece land. They had few acres of land. In that they constructed a building and some land was left. So the vice chancellor of the university said, let us convert this barren piece of land into a world-class garden. Let us make it a big garden, so that the yield which we are getting can be used for our hostel. We can use it for we can show that so many things we are having it. Like that, he just mooted this idea. So the idea was to convert the barren land into a world-class garden. So the perspective plan came for the 20 years, 15 to 20 years was the plan drawn out. So in that, the leadership first imagined that, okay, in 20 years, this perspective plan I'm talking about, in this 20 years, this barren land is going to be known globally for rare plants. Then it will have sustainability and it will have a lot of learning from this land. That is what it was thought about. That is the perspective plan. So this barren land is going to yield very good results at the end of 15 to 20 years. It is going to come up into a very beautiful, lushful garden, yielding good results. This was the long-term plan. So I mean to say that it is the long-term vision and the aspiration, that is the perspective plan. Now, when it came to the strategic plan, what was it is, I told you it is a medium term. So it is for the 5 years. So what happened, next they asked, okay, what will be, should be a medium term? 20 years, it is a long time. Many plants will dry, all that they have a discussion. But what should be our strategic plan? How should we? So the key strategies, they said, okay, what must we do so that we can arrive at we should be closer to our dream. We should attain that. So for that, they said, okay, we should have a good soil and water system should be there. We should have good trained expert gardeners should be there. New plant varieties should be there. And we should have some collaboration with the research institution. This was the strategic plan drawn. So this strategic plan was a medium-term roadmap with clear priorities and focus areas. Okay, let us have a soil and the water system, expert gardeners, introduce new plant varieties, research institutes, collaboration, all that. But then if we split this into a disciplined action plan, that is, okay, in 0 to 2 years, I will do this. In 3 to 5 years, I will do this. Beyond 5 years, that is 5 to 10 years, I will do this. Like that, if we split it up, that is, let us assign this to a department of botany. The department of botany will come up with good medicinal. First, they will identify the good medicinal plant. They will see the irrigation system, will have to install drip in the systems. Then they will have a training conducted for the faculty. Then they will name these botanical plants. Like that, they split into parts. That is called the institutional development plan. That is the measurable action, disciplined action. That is called IDP. That is, a strategic plan gives you a direction. IDP gives you a disciplined direction with actions, and futuristic vision is the perspective plan. Hope I made it clear. These three are different things. So IDP, if I have to say, it is designing step-by-step journey to reach the vision of the institution. Step-by-step journey, we are dividing it. So on the basis of that, I've given this. The institutional development plan, it's a comprehensive plan which covers academics, it covers governance, resources, and the outcome. And it is action oriented with defined activities. We split one by one and we talk about with timelines. And it is it covers short term, which is 0 to 3 years, 2 years. Then we have medium term, which is covers 3 to 5 years, and we have long term, 5 to 10 years. And it's a measurable improvement and quality enhancement. Whereas when you talk about a strategic plan, it is a broad one. And when we say, okay, this, just I spoke about that broad institutional strategies and priorities, goal-oriented with strategic objectives. It's a medium term, and it has a policy alignment and strategic coherence. A coherence is there. Okay, look, this, like that. Then perspective plan is long-term vision, which we have to achieve. And it is directional, indicating a long-term intent, and it has institutional future readiness. So this is the difference. So perspective plan used to be there before 2017. Then after that, it came our strategic plan, which we used to submit the last NAAC 2017 or the guidelines as per that. But the new one which is coming, which UGC has made a mandate, is the institutional development plan. And my dear friends, I will tell you that why this is important, because this document which we prepare, the NAAC will look into it, and we will see to it that whether whatever plans we have done, whether we are able to attain it or not. Although I know you might be thinking, okay, why she is telling that? But because as per the UGC, some few parameters which has come for us to go through it, that how much we have implemented, IDP is very important, and it we actually put in the institutional website. That is what is the requirement. So, and it is one of the important document in the IQAC, as well as in the 10 attributes which NAAC is has given us a draft. So IDP plays a very important role, and we should not ignore it, and we should start working towards it. But then how to work? How do we formulate it? When you have to divide your entire faculty, or the main the principal. Not all the faculties can also initially, or what you can do initially at the higher official level, we can have as per the vision and mission, you can have the key people divided into the 8 attributes which I'll explain it to you. You have to divide them, and then you should have that each team should have a brainstorming session among them. They should have a design thinking type workshop. They should have the SWOT analysis. They should have an S-curve analysis, which I will talk in that. And then team deliberation, reflection, and independent thinking studies should be there. And then come out with each the section should come out with the plan, which I will discuss as and when we go ahead. Next slide. Smriti, next slide. Okay. So what is this institution development plan? That is nothing but a strategic roadmap that I said that guides a college planned, measurable, and sustainable development over a definite period. Now, when we talk about main focus is on academic, because everything, the base is the academics. So the main focus is on academic and curricular improvement. Then comes student development and progression as usual. See, anything is there, it roots, it goes around academics, then it is the student cycle, it is the faculty cycle. So, and for over and above, we should have a governance, good governance. That is very, very important. So here also it focuses on academic and curricular improvement. It talks about student development and progression. It actually focuses on faculty, governance, and leadership strengthening. That is very, very important. Without that, no institution can thrive. Then we have infrastructure, that is digitalization in this tech era, AI era. We have to talk about digitalization and financial stability. Without that, nothing can be implemented. Next slide. With the next slide. Key dimension of an IDP. The main dimensions on which an IDP is mainly is the strategic nature. I spoke about strategic plan, but the nature of it. As I said, it should be vision driven. It's not that something we put, it should not be. The plan which we are going to have, it should have a driven by a vision. It should future focused, it should be. It's not that just like that we are planning, it should not be like that. Then it should translate the institutional goals into actionable strategy. As I said, pure action has to be oriented towards it, moves beyond the routine actual planning. There should be something innovativeness in your thinking. It's not that, okay, go take the class, come back. Classes should be as per the scheduled, as per, you should complete the classes as per the curriculum. It should not be like that, because the NEP, what the national education policy envisages, that it is no more the classroom is a teaching, it is a place of learning. So taking that as the basis, we should see to it that the vision should be also to be that level. So it should be move beyond the routine annual planning. There should be, the planning should be overall a different level. Then next, it should be time-based planning. As I said, short-term, immediate improvements and capacity building program should be there. Midterm, we should be for 3 to 5 years, and long-term is 5 to 10 years. And it should be planned in such a way that there is a sustainable growth, and institutions should should be moving towards excellence. Now, when it comes to the holistic coverage, when I talk about, it should be academic quality, the plan should have, and it should have, the curriculum should be enriched. It should not be that mundane, the old things, whatever we know we are teaching, but it should be to the recent trends. It should cover that. And administrative efficiency and governance should be taken into account. Infrastructure and digital readiness should be there, whether we can make use of the technology, because even it's the era of chat GPT. So with that also, that digital readiness should be there, and financial planning and resource optimization should also be taken into account. So overall, there should be, it should be outcome oriented with clear targets and milestones should be there. It's not that just we frame it and we are not, it is in the paper, but it's not in the implementation stage. It should not be like that. It should have a clear target and milestone. Measurable performance indicators should be there, that with that we should know, okay, look, this has been either done and it has to be implemented. Somebody should be periodically monitoring it up. So continuous monitoring and improvement should also be, that is the most important thing in the IDP, which anybody, that is what in the audit also will be taken into account, whether somebody is continuously monitoring it or not. And there is where the IQAC plays a key role. Next. Why IDP matters for the institution? That's what I was telling, that IDP plays a key role for the institution because of the changing. You know that education is where it is rapidly, every now and then we see that there is a new change which is going to happen in the education. So when we're talking about a new change which is taking place in the education, you can see that with the introduction of NEP, there are a lot of things. Now asynchronous learning has come into it, wherein we're talking about MOOCs, developing MOOCs, students have to take up SWAYAM, all that. So the education the landscape itself is changing in a faster pace. So because of this, IDP is very, very important because it responds to the NEP 2020. It multidisciplinary education it talks about. And it see earlier, if I talk about I'm a physics professor, I will be always used to be in the physics silos working on physics only. But now I should think about that integrating with this computer science, or I should think about integrating with the management or something like that, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, I should talk about, think about, and should aim for national and global benchmark. That is very, very important. Then accountability, autonomy, and quality assurance. That is the another important thing. It matters because it strengthens the institutional accountability, whether an institution is accountable to whatever it is. So unless and until, see, if we also have a monthly plan, we or a day when we start, look, I have to do this, I have to finish this portion, or I have to do this at my institution. When I go to the department, I should finish off all this. So for that, we do a planning. So this planning is in such a way that we have to cater to all these things. So we should be, it should be such a way that it strengthens the institutional accountability, supports the autonomous decision making, and aligns with the NAAC and UGC expectations. Then when it comes to compliance driven, naturally, we have it is now lot of compliance issues are there. So for that, it shifts focus from the routine compliance to the planned growth, innovation, and long-term sustainability. That is what it talks about. Long-term, we should think about that, okay, my institution, you will be known for this. It is not that I did this and it is over, but it should be such a way that, just like in we say that whenever in IQAC we talk about, it is nothing but we actually, first of all, we set some initiatives. That initiative has to sustain, and then we should look for enhancement. So the same thing here, it should be having a planned growth, innovation, and it should be long-term sustainable too. Next slide. So the main objective is to strengthen the institution by focusing on the 5 core outcomes. That is institutional strengthening, as I spoke about, that robust academic system should be there, effective governance should be there, and a leadership which is very, very capable. Second thing is quality enhancement and excellence. That is, it should be in such a way that whatever we do, we should talk about in terms of quality. That is, it should be improving the teaching learning process. There should be a research culture and student outcomes through continuous improvement. Because NEP and the new NAAC manual, it talks about outcome and impact. Friends, that is very, very important, outcome and impact. And in order to attain outcome and impact, we should have a proper plan in place. And that is where IDP helps us. So now the next is for all this to happen, proper resource allocation should be there. And for that, we need a that is manpower is needed. We need good financial, the backup. We need a physical and digital resource also. And then with all this, the stakeholder satisfaction. And in the IDP, stakeholder plays a key role. Stakeholder plays a very, very key role. And here the enhancing the engagement and satisfaction of students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community partners are very, very important. Overall, as I talk about the sustainability, that is long-term institutional growth, that is socially responsible, environmentally conscious, and future readiness, that is what should be the main goal which the IDP, the main objectives of the IDP is. Next slide. Now, why exactly, as I spoke about, we know that the excellence, it is actually talking about the excellence. When it talks about the excellence, it actually, when we talk about NAAC's criteria into planned institutional action, earlier we had 7 criteria. Now it has 10 attributes it is. So based on the 10 attributes, only the entire IDP is also planning is. So it supports that systematic improvement and evidence-based reporting. And the NAAC accreditation, as you know, that Because why we see earlier there was a time when we used to just with the word of mouth we used to go and get admitted in any colleges, but now it is not like that. The parents and students, they look into the NIRF ranking, they look into the NAAC ranking, they look into the social media, study everything, and accordingly get the students admitted, awards admitted. So the accreditation is really a must, and that is where it helps in keeping the entire quality in the picture, that is in terms of education. And then whatever we do, it helps that okay, with that we know that whatever we are doing is up to the mark. So earlier, then every year we used to submit the annual quality assurance report. Last time we got information that henceforth NAC is not taking the AQAR. As of now, it is stalled. But AQAR used to help us in checking that where do we stand, because already we had the SSR, we had the benchmark with us. So it used to help us to know that where we stand. So that was one of although it was a little cumbersome thing for us to always prepare the AQR, but this AQR definitely helped us in knowing where we used to stand in terms of the gaps. So that is where the AQR used to help us. Now, when it comes to UGC autonomy and graded autonomy also, it enables us to have informed academic, administrative, and financial decisions. And it also, because autonomy is given, means we have the freedom of our own framing our curriculum. We had good autonomy. We could not, because otherwise we used to depend on the university to help us to give that autonomy that way. And the NEP also 2020, it helps in aligning the institutional planning, and it helps in our students, those who want to go abroad, and globally also we are getting aligned to that. So, and it also promotes flexibility, skill development, holistic learning, and it encourages innovation, research, and digital transformation. And if you look into it, it helps us in aligning with the alignment with the affiliating university norms, supports the statutory compliance and the policy also for the smooth academic and administrative functioning. Also, it helps. Next slide. Now, I just have one question for you. How does the IDP support academic excellence and curriculum innovation? Why? How does it? It is not, of course, by enforcing uniform curricula across institution. It is not by enabling. Is it out of these four? What do you think? Which one is the correct one? Is it by enforcing uniform curricula? That is not necessary for academic excellence. What is needed is it through curriculum changes to examination reforms? Examination reforms is a different entity. It is a different thing which that is for according to the students' need. We actually have to take on that whether it should be the what sort of reforms we want to bring in. And by discouraging interdisciplinary approach, definitely not. So the one which is actual one is by enabling outcome based. Academic excellence and curriculum innovation can be attained by enabling outcome based, multidisciplinary approach, and flexible curriculum design, because flexible curriculum design will help us in keeping on par with the industry trends and all. Next slide.
Participants, please share the responses for this answer in the chat section. Okay, most of you are saying it's B. Let's see the correct answer. Yeah, it's B. By enabling outcome-based, multidisciplinary, and flexible curriculum design, we'll be able to support academic excellence and curriculum innovation. Okay, let's move ahead.
Okay, now is the main slide of the IDP enabler. Before I get into it, I'll just tell you that while there are 8 enablers in IDP. institution development plan, as I told, it is giving a disciplined action. So it has 8 enablers. Before I get into it, I'll just give you a short story, because friends, excellence is not a destination, but an ongoing commitment to evolve, inspire, and transform. It helps us in these 3 things: evolve, inspire, and transform. So, in every plan which we created and designed, there is a bridging of gap between the vision and the impact, which shapes future that transcends boundaries. So, whatever we should aim for excellence. So in that, I will just tell you a short story. Why exactly this, how these enablers help and why these enablers help. See, when I talk about that, there was one university that had big dreams, but the progress was showing slow. That every department, they were working hard, and yet the results were scattered. One day they were working hard, everybody, they went on, they were doing their duty, but what if they saw that it was not up to the mark, the progress was in a slower pace. So one day the new principal, he gathered the faculty and asked a simple question: what if you stop working in silos? What we working in silos, and let's start building the bridges. The bridge here he meant was the vision and leadership. That it was going on, but they didn't have a particular, it was just like if you have travel in a ship and there's no compass, then what will happen? Without the compass, the ship sails, it will be directionless. So they were all working and they were doing their job. But then the first step, what he did, the bridge, was vision and leadership. So a clear 5-year roadmap was actually developed, and then they created, the roadmap was created, and they aligned everyone towards a common goal. Suddenly, the departments came to know, oh, look, I have to do this. And they started what to do, what next to do. They came to know about it. Now, then there came what happened. So first vision and leadership was planned. Then came the digital systems. Then they said, okay, they used to do the paper files. The paper files was taking its own, the dashboard, the paper file was taking its own time to go from one office to the other. So then they replaced it with dashboards, and they automated the workflow. So dashboards and the digital system help the work to go faster. Then the decisions which used to take 2 weeks now made in days, improving the transparency and accountability. Then they started taking interest in capacity building, which helped the teachers in blended learning, research methods, outcome-based education, everything. Slowly they started developing that. Then they thought about the stakeholder engagement. So with that proper planning, they started moving ahead. So I mean to say that the proper planning has helped them in going ahead with the decisions. So now, when you see that here, IDP enablers are, first is governance, which is the main pivot. I will say why it is the main pivot. I will tell you in my slides to come. It ensures effective and transparent institutional management. When we talk about the governance, we always think about our management. It is not only management, there is much beyond that. The management of an institution, we think about that. It is much beyond that. So second is the financial, because maintaining and financial health and sustainability is very, very important. So without the financial, nothing can be, it rests on the finances, almost everything rests on the finance. Third is the third enabler is the academic enabler. So enabler A is governance, enabler B is finance enabler C is academic enabler, that is enhancing teaching, learning, and curriculum development. Fourth enabler is research, innovation, and IP, intellectual property rights. So it helps in fostering the research, creativity, and intellectual property protection. That is that. And then is the fifth enabler, that is supportive and facilitative. And here also it comes the human resources. So it provides essential support, services, and resources. Then the sixth enabler is the physical infrastructure. That is how we should develop and maintain the physical facilities. Then comes the digital enabler, which is the We are in the tech era of using the AI/ML and all. So how you can use leverage technology for the institutional advancement, and then is networking and collaboration, which plays a key role, which helps in the building partnership and fostering the collaborations. So let us now dig deep into each of these enablers. I'll not bore you. I know it's a very heavy topic, this IDP, but as far as possible, I'll try to see to it that when I do it in a normal mode, I do in a workshop mode so that the faculty will come, they only write it and then they present it. But this being a webinar mode, so I will see to it that to be keeping you interesting so that if at all at home, you are at home or at wherever you are, you will feel, you see, it will be an interesting session for you all. So next slide. So now comes the governance enabler. When you talk about the governance enabler, I'll just take you that there was a university campus which had excellent roads. I mean, the roads is something different. Here, I'm just telling that excellent roads and skilled drivers. The roads means the excellent infrastructure facilities, everything was there. The skilled drivers, I mean here, the faculty, staff, and students were all capable and committed. Yet everything in the morning there was a chaos. That is, the department used to work in silos. As I said, decisions got stuck. People blamed individuals. Usually it happens when something will blame Modi, he is responsible, she is responsible, management is responsible. That is the human nature we use. But the real problem was not that. That which I feel, talk about the road and skill driver, then what happens when in normal sense, when you talk about the road and skill drivers, we talk about the traffic. Especially I'm from Bangalore, so I will be talking about the traffic. In the city, there were no traffic signals, I can see. But here what has happened now, the leadership then stepped in and they said, let us have clear policies in place, SOPs in place. So there comes the governance. Okay, so a good governance should have clear policies and SOPs, because when I told you that there was a university with good, excellent roads and skill drivers and good traffic, but there were no traffic signals. So here the traffic rules came in terms of governance, that is clear policies and SOPs. Then came defined authority and reporting lines. In terms of traffic, we talk about signals and signboards. Then there were digital dashboards and MIS, committees and review mechanisms. So the governance has brought in all these things. They brought in clear policies and SOPs, defined authority and reporting lines, digital dashboards they brought in and MIS. Then they had committees and review mechanisms. Then suddenly what will happen? Everybody started knowing in that university, and they went to move and went to what to do. Everything they got a clear identity they got. Just like I told you that the roads were good, skilled drivers were there, but the signal was not proper. Once the rules of the traffic came into the picture, the vehicles started moving smoothly. In the same way, when the university had a clear policy and an SOP in place with reporting lines, authority, digital dashboard, MIS, committees, and review mechanism, then everything started flowing in smoothly. So as I said, the decision flowed smoothly, accountability became visible, conflicts also reduced, and all that work got smoothened. So the roads and drivers are always good. It was the governance enabler that brought order in place. So the governance enabler do not control people, but they enable smooth, transparent, and accountable functioning. That is the main role of a governance enabler. So as governance enabler, it helps in enhancing the stakeholder engagement and communication. It helps in institutional success. It helps in the responsibility and agility, that ability to take it forward and to sustain it and facilitate the effective implementation. The governance enabler has to see that it is making that effective implementation of the IDP. Employability and innovation ecosystem prevails autonomy with accountability is there, e-learning and distance education can be imparted there, inclusive and equitable education is imparted to all, and global and research driven excellence. You might be thinking that when everything is there, why do we need other enablers? But as I said, IDP is giving you a disciplined direction with action. So that is where, although governance enabler encompasses everything, but each enabler has to further be split into small the points, then only this IDP functions. Next step. Next slide. So the core objective of a good governance is there should be, as I said, good as a SOPs, policies should be there. All that, whatever we are, there should be good policy in place for effective decision making. Then there should be digital governance and automation, which will enhance the administrative efficiency. There should, because again, I'll tell you that each of this enabler has 6 to 7 verticals. So this good governance, the governance enabler has 7 verticals. So the first vertical is policy and framework development. Second is digital governance and automation. Third is transparency and accountability. Fourth is the capacity building and leadership development. The fifth one is the stakeholder engagement and participatory governance. Sixth is audit, compliance and risk management. Seven is, it talks about sustainability and institutional autonomy. So when you are making the plans for governance enabler, that enabler team should look into all the 7 verticals. Again, I make it, the team of governance enabler who is working on the IDP document will have 7 verticals. So these 7 verticals, they have to plan for these 7 verticals. So when they're planning for these 7 verticals, they should see that under policy and framework, they should tell that each enabler should have this sort of good guidelines, institutional policies should be there in place. When it comes to digital governance, they should talk about they should plan in such a way that the particular institution should have administrative efficiency using ERP system, AI-based decision support should be there. So you should plan for your university that what should I have for short term, what digital governance you are suggesting. For medium term, what digital governance and automation you are supporting. For the long term, what you are planning. Similarly, when it comes to transparency and accountability, you should make it such a way that you should think that you should have an open decision making through grievance redressal, compliance tracking, and stakeholder engagement. You have to split it into 3 parts. Similarly, when it comes to capacity building and leadership development, you should see that what sort of training programs you are planning short term, medium term, and long term, so as to keep all this leadership pipeline and administrative development. When you talk about stakeholder engagement and participatory governance, you should think about here, this is very, very important in the governance and in overall, in all the enablers. The main thing IDP document talks about is the stakeholder engagement. And here the main stakeholder whom we are talking about is the alumni. Alumni plays a key role in this, because even our PEOs, when we frame, are also dependent on, at the end of 3 years or at the end of the end of the 3 years, what exactly our alumni are giving us. So it is the alumni plays a key role when the PEOs when we talk about. So in the same way here also, stakeholder engagement, the alumni plays a key role, remember that. So it involves faculty, students, industries, and as well as the industry engagement in governance to ensure inclusivity and responsiveness. Audit, compliance and risk management, that is whether you are complying with the quality assurance, the accreditation, readiness and institutional risk assessment in terms of any calamities. Then when we talk about sustainable and institutional autonomy, it should develop self-sustainable governance modes, integrate ESG, that is environmental, social and governance practices, and foster the institutional independence. These 7 verticals you should think about. Next one, next slide. So here you can see that the active leadership bodies, which plays a key role in the governance, is there should be it should be governance. That it should have the basic response, the diverse representation should be there in that. So the governance enhancement should be through strengthening the leadership bodies. That is, you will be having academic council, you will have the various statutory bodies in your instead of the board of governance, now we have executive committee, like that. Whatever statutory bodies, finance committee, all that you should talk about, and it should have diverse representatives. It's not that one or two people are there. There should be student representatives, there should be faculty representatives, alumni representatives, or BO in the BOS and all. So that it talks about. So overall, it talks about reinforcing existing bodies, ensure clear decision making. It should have a strategic direction, and diverse representation will help. I told you, alumni should be there, external stakeholders in terms of industry representation should be there, and this all should be such a way that it will broaden the perspectives. So mostly it can be achieved through the main governance, that is board of governors, then that is the statutory bodies which I spoke about, academic council, and the finance committees. Then this balanced autonomy, it helps us achieving the governance alignment. That is, it helps in ensuring accountability, continuous monitoring, because it's not that we frame these bodies and keep. These bodies should be such a way that they should meet at regular intervals, and they should see that what is the progress made. That is very, very important. And align, the other thing, it is not that IDP is meant for at the principal officers level, it is meant at the department level. So department should also see to it that they should have a departmental development plan which aligns with the institutional development plan, because that is where the faculty play a key role. Faculty and the heads of the department. Here, IDP makes each one accountable. It's not the management alone. It is not the IQAC coordinator alone. It makes each of the faculty also equally accountable. So it helps in developing plans which are synchronized with the broader institutional strategy, and grant autonomy. It helps in granting autonomy. That is, it helps in departments gaining the authority to manage their function independently. See, we give them the autonomy that you can, but there is a set boundary which each individual knows. So accordingly, they have to function. Next slide. Now you can see that when I spoke about the quality assurance and transparency, which is one of the first vertical I spoke about. Then the first two verticals I spoke about. I told you 7 verticals are there in governance. So the next vertical is quality assurance and transparency. So here I see is there academic standards. It is it. The next vertical. When it comes about the other vertical, that is financial autonomy and sustainability, here industry partnership plays a very, very important role, because nowadays we are always saying that we should bridge the gap between academia and industry. That gap should be bridged. We should see that. No audio. Smriti,
Ma'am, your audio was breaking in between.
my
Right now,
voice is
it's
breaking.
fine. Yeah, it's fine now. It was breaking in the
In
beginning of
between,
the
I
slide.
saw that there was some technical glitch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay. Then we should, so first is industry partnership, we should look into it. The second important thing, which in the other enabler I will talk about, is the consultancy engagement. Consultancy engagement is very, very important. So it should, of the faculty should see to it that they should be able to offer the consultancy service, can create a new revenue stream and leverage the institutional expertise. Whatever expertise you have, you should try to give it to the others, so that it will be sort of a consultancy generation, by in terms of MDP, in terms of EDP, that is executive development program, management development program, and try to generate revenue out of it, besides the other consultancy services which you can offer. And then that is, I told, executive programs, that is launching programs for executives, can generate additional income and enhance the institutional reputation. It is not only enhancing the institution, it will also, that is, it will help in the internal revenue generation, IRG we call. So that will help in the financial enabler, because although the management, the revenue can come through tuition fees in case of private institutions, or through government support, or through revenue through extramural projects, but there are the ways and means in which we can generate revenue, that is through consultancy and through MDP and through EDP. So this is the next word, the other vertical in the governance enabler. Next slide. The next is the inclusivity and the stakeholder engagement. That is very, very important. So these are all under the governance enabler. As I again I repeat, governance enabler has 7 verticals. So I touched upon the four verticals now. Now these are the other one, inclusivity and stakeholder engagement. That is collaborative input. That faculties, mentorship, the membership, for then fundraising and academic industry linkages, they should think about. They should think about active engagement involving regular meetings and feedback to shape policies effectively. And you should also be seen that strategic guidance, that is provide direction and align policies with industry and societal needs. Diverse representation should be there, which will help in ensuring varied perspectives from alumni, industry, and in a gist I told you that. So in this, the inclusivity and say stakeholder engagement, you should make the plans in such a way that it should lead collaborative. Your short term, mid term, long term should have this active engagement. You should have strategic guidance. You should have diverse representation also. Then when it comes to digital and distance learning governance, adopt a digital governance framework. You should see that you should have a centralized LMS for all the program, allowing the seamless digital access and to the coursework, assessment, and progress tracking. Then real-time data for decision making. A dashboard should be, and data analysis should be there. Okay, look, I have said this, whether I'm able to get it. Key performance indicators have been given. That is, the target setting have been done by the departments, of faculty members of the department. And at the end, you should monitor that whether they're able to attain it or not. Faculty performance, research output, financial health, everything will be able to check it through the digital and distance learning governance. And distance learning also talks about offering distance learning programs wherever it is possible. But I know it's not possible. It is not been permitted for all the educational institutions. Next slide. Next is the research and innovation governance. When we talk about research and innovation, and then here it is, the main thing is establish research and innovation council should be there, which should have a proper roadmap for research excellence. Set up IP cell in the campus so that it will help in managing patent, managing copyright, ensure protection of the whatever innovations you had, ensure the proper commercialize, because now patent filing, patent granted, that is not enough. You should go beyond that. That is commercialization of the patent. And when it comes, you have a proper roadmap for excellence, then it should be aligned with the institutional goal. So research and innovation governance can also talk about setting up all the short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Then when it comes to academic excellence and pedagogy, we talk about student learning. When we talk about student learning, establish a system to collect the feedback. As we do, there should be a proper feedback. Taking a feedback and keeping it is not that. After taking the feedback, we should see that we are going to analyze it, and action taken report has to be generated, so which will help them in the whatever the students have suggested, we are going to incorporate it or not, that we can have a check. So it helps us in continuously having a good academic offerings based on the feedback. When it comes to blended learning approach, that is one important thing. As per the NEP, 40% they say should be in terms of the blended learning. So for blended learning, we should have a good student engagement. For that, we should see that the flexibility should be there in our curriculum. We should have online resources. We should have we should see that it is also having the learning abilities should be there. The traditional method can be used. Along with that, we should see that we should have the other means of learning also for them, and learning accessibility should be there for them, and self-paced learning techniques should be also be provided to the students. Next slide. When it comes to the community and industry engagement, the main important thing is that we should see that our curriculum is aligned with all the academic programs are aligned with the industry needs. Then we should have an industry advisory board in place, with that in such a way that it should enhance the student employability, create internship opportunity, and guide curriculum development. In that way, we should have our industry engagement. Next slide. So all this I told about is the 7 verticals under the governance enabler. Only one enabler, and this enabler, that's why I told governance enabler is the pivot of all other enablers, because we already spoke about research. I already spoke about a research enabler. I already spoke about the finance enabler. So here you can see that how governance enabler I have connected to all the other enablers. That is the beauty. Each enabler has having a connect, but governance enabler has a connect with all the other enablers. I've shown this. See, you can see that the how governance enabler is connected to academic enabler. You see, governance enabler is policy decision making, compliance, and strategic oversight. But you can see that in academic enabler, it talks about academic program progression. It talks about establishing centers of excellence. Then it talks about value added skill development courses, which I'm going to talk about in academic. Then finance enabler, it talks about budgeting. Already governance also is talking about it. Then we have networking and collaboration enabler, where in each one it will talk about industry partnership, collaboration, and stakeholder networking will talk about. In human resource, it will talk about faculty, the recruitment. It talks about training, and it talks about performance and evaluation. And in digital enabler, this we will IT, e-governance we talk about, but you see that it is also linked in the 7 verticals of governance. Then research and intellectual property enabler will talk about innovation, patent, and ethics of research. And you can see that physical and infrastructure will talk about campus development, sustainability, facility management. So in a way, the governance enabler is the pivot of all the other enabler, although it is the enabler. I told you that it is enabler A. So governance enabler is the backbone of the institutional development. So the team which is going to make the short-term, mid-term, long-term plan for governance enabler has a key role to play, because it has to be aligned with the all other enablers. Next slide. Now comes the next enabler, enabler B, that is the financial enabler. When I talk about the financial enabler, as you know, without finance, nothing happens. That it is assured flow, but not just funds. It should be, it is not that funds are in place, but there is no flow. It's not like that. It should be an assured flow. So, next slide. The financial enabler, again, as I said, it has 6 verticals. So just to, I know that I've been talking, and I will just give you another small story. There was an university with excellent building, hired good faculty, designed strong academic programs, everything. But what happened? They saw that whatever they planned could not move ahead. It failed midway. Labs got stalled, events got postponed, projects actually slowed down, and people asked why everything, despite we had good plans, why it is happening like this. They went on asking like that. Then the leadership found out that what was the issue is not the lack of money. They had money. Whatever the faculty were asking, they were giving. But it was irregular flow and poor planning. So then what they did, they created a proper budget planning which is aligned to the IDP they did, timely fund allocation they did, and delegation of financial power. They told, okay, head of the department has this power, the principal of the campus has this power, like that they delegated that. Then transparent approval and audit system they made, internal audit, external audit they made, approvals process they streamlined, and monitoring of utilization and outcome they did. So it was just like, if you have a overhead water tank, it is well managed overhead, then what will happen? Water like funds will be was available whenever needed. If you have a well managed overhead tank in our building, water will keep flowing whenever you need. Usage was planned, monitored, so there was no wastage or sudden shortage. So in the same way, financial enabler has a key role to play. That is, it should be an assured flow of funds. So that is how a financial enabler has to play a key role. So it means it has 6 verticals which ensure financial stability, transparency, and efficient utilization of resources. And for that, as I told you, there are 6 verticals. That is financial planning and budgeting, resource mobilization, fund utilization and allocation, financial governance, monitoring and audit, sustainability and growth. These 6 verticals, because financial planning will help in aligning perspective and annual financial plan. Resource mobilization is such a way that diversify and augment the financial resources. You should try to get through grants, consultancy, industry, and alumni support. Alumni can also come and pitch in. You can have ask the alumni to have some donation, or you can have the endowment plans. You can have the or you can have you can also see to it that fund is allocated, whatever is it's utilized properly in terms of optimal, efficient, and outcome oriented use of the finance. And then to promote transparency, accountability, and compliance with the statutory bodies, and then to track the financial performance and ensure timely internal and external audit. It's not that we give autonomy and we leave it. We should have that, and to ensure long-term financial sustainability and support institutional development initiative. So there should be set aside funds for all this. So these are the verticals which are there, 6 verticals under the financial enabler for planning for short-term, mid-term, and long-term under the IDP. Next slide. So the financial enablement plan should be in such a way that there should be the strategic focus area should be in such a way that there should be a sustainable revenue stream. Financial self-reliance should be there. So the revenue generation action plan, when you're preparing, it should cover these areas, that is industry collaboration, so that we can also have that with the industry collaboration, we should be able to get some funds, or we should have their assistance in that. Then department-led initiatives which can lead to that internal, as I said, internal revenue generation, research and consultancy, through research, through external projects, and as well as we should also see that some part of the assistance, if the institution can do, they can provide seed money so for the faculty, so as to they can get into some projects and they can learn that, and they can further see to it that they can be able to generate consultancy. Then sustainable partnership should be there, training and certification, as I already said, through EDP and MDP training executives, training industry professionals, can also in terms of some engineering colleges and some other teachers, if they have expertise, they can see to it that they have the training programs organized so that they can generate revenue through that. Next slide. Next comes the academic enabler. So we covered governance enabler, wherein we spoke about that there were 7 verticals, and that is the pivot I said. Then we had the finance enabler, wherein it spoke about all the finances required. How can the revenue be generated? There should be funds allocated. Without fund allocation, there won't be a systematic approach. So there should be a budget planning, which is very, very important, and there should be timely fund allocation. So for that, we should set aside the short-term, mid-term, and the long-term plan. Then comes academic enabler. As I was talking about, academic enabler also has verticals under this. Next slide. So here you can see that again it has 6 verticals. And the main thing which it talks about is, it talks about curriculum relevance and quality. It talks about teaching learning excellence. It talks about student learning outcomes, faculty academic engagement. Many times you will be thinking, what I'm talking is the same thing what we are doing. We might be doing, but we are not actually planning each one. That is the most important thing. We have been doing this, but have we planned for short term that, look, I'm going to do this changes in my program. These are the programs which I'm going to offer. Like that, we have never planned it. The planning is very, very important. So quality relevance, these curriculum relevance and quality, teaching learning excellence, student learning outcomes, faculty academic engagement, academic flexibility and mobility, quality assurance and improvement. So when we talk about quality, the curriculum relevance and quality, it ensures programs are current, multidisciplinary, and aligned with the national priorities. That is very, very important. If you remember, when we used to do that, in the NAAC system, the one which we 2017, as per that, what we used to do is, we used to see to it that we have in the local, national, global, regional, global, like that we used to map it up. So that is what is the we used to have for curriculum relevance, the relevance and quality. In the same way, we should see that whether it is aligned with national priorities, we should look into it. Teaching learning excellence, here we should see that it promotes learner-centric, outcome-based and innovative pedagogical practices are being made use of. That is very, very important thing. As I said, it is more of learner-centric as per the NEP. Then the student learning outcomes, when we talk about, it should be in such a way that it is having enhanced the academic achievement, employability, and lifelong learning capabilities are there. It should lead to that. Then when it comes to faculty academic engagement, it should be in such a way that it should strengthen faculty involvement in curriculum design, delivery, and assessment. Then in terms of academic flexibility and mobility, enable the credit transfer, multiple entry, because this is as per the NEP that whenever a student leaves first year, he can get the certificate, second year he gets the diploma, third year he gets a graduate degree, fourth year gets an honors degree. So if that level allocation is there, that if that university or the is offering NEP, then you have this option, enable credit transfer and interdisciplinary learning. Then quality assurance is there in every level, wherein you should see that it supports academic review, reforms, and benchmarking. Just like that, we should see that we are able to attain that what the excellence. That is what in terms of benchmarking. Just like if we used to have in last that, okay, for each of the metrics a benchmark, then only we will be able to get the 4 grade. So in the same way, we should look into that we are attaining that benchmarking. Next one. See, there was a student who was actually talented and the faculty were committed, learning, and she was doing very well. But suddenly that student struggled in her core subject. she was became very weak. She didn't know how to learn better. But then the when the mentoring hours were done, limited access, because there was no mentoring, there was no limited, she didn't have an access to digital resources. All that happened then, because of which her scores started reducing. Then finally, what happened? The university started, or the department started thinking about it. What is the reason? They started looking at the gap analysis. Once the gap analysis was done, then they came to know that they have to make the teaching more innovative. They started mapping their curriculum. They found out that there is something, that gap analysis led them to think about innovative ways, and that is how the students started improving the scores. And this way, it means that academically we started thinking how to enhance it, how to see to it that the students can do fare better. So the academic enablement plan again has 6 verticals, as I told you: curriculum restructuring. So for that, we should see that how we can restructure our curriculum. We should see that we should launch MOOCs. The faculty should try to see that they develop MOOCs and offer MOOCs program for the students. There should be a center for excellence in AI. Whether our curriculum is aligned with the NEP, again, I know that some universities have that problem because some states have not adopted. Then, of course, industry integration is in our hand, and research excellence. That there was a time only at postgraduate level the research used to happen, but now at undergraduate level, also the research is mandatory. So the implementation of the action plan should be such a way that it should enhance the curriculum design. It should The student designed degrees should be there. With that, we can also offer value added courses for the students. Additional courses for the student. Innovation and recognition should be there in whatever we should can see to it that we should have plans so that there can be an innovation recognition. It should lead to academic excellence. KPIs should be designed so that it can add value to whatever they are doing. So we should see to it that the academic enablement plan should have all those feeders in our short-term, medium, and long-term plan, which can lead to have an excellence, and student will look forward to come and join our programs. Next slide. Research, innovation, and IP enabler. As you all know, it's a very toughest, and this is this actually in earlier NAAC and the coming NAAC manual also has more, going to be having more actually points, more marks will be there in this research and innovation and the enabler, IP enabler, because as you know, it is actually talks about lot of things which is very difficult for us to attain. So that this is that, because it talks about knowledge transfer, it talks about societal impact, it talks about IPR, innovation and startups, industry collaboration, academic research, all that it talks about. So next slide. Here again, you can see that there are 6 verticals. Research and innovation, it talks about 6 verticals. The 6 verticals is research excellence. Here, we should think about the plans in such a way that our research should be high quality. There was a time in which they were talking about high quality, that the publication should be there. Now it talks about the quality indexed papers, whether it's multidisciplinary and nationally, globally, relevant research is happening. Innovation ecosystem is there so that it encourages incubation, patent, startup, and technology development. Faculty and students should engage in so that they can strengthen the research culture among the faculty and student, collaboration and networking, that it supports partnership with industry institutions and research bodies. Then the resource mobilization, that is facilitate grants through funding and infrastructure. Then knowledge dissemination, that is enhanced publication, conferences, and societal contribution of the research. That is here mainly what we talk about is in such a way that we should strengthen our research ecosystem. Faculty mentors should be seeing that seed funding, which will be introduced, so that an innovation cell should be there, prototype, so that it will help them in, if they're not having an idea about it, the institution should see to it that enough training sessions or handholding should be there, so that they can understand and they can apply for the patent. Their ideas are can be in, it can be sellable. Like that, we should give a room for that. For that, a proper planning can be done by the institution, so that the institution can attain this excellence, and the faculty can, they can be mentored and they can reach the excellence in research area. Next slide. So here there should be a research that the what exactly it should be covered is, there should be a research council and IP cell should be there. So establish a research council and IP cell. The planning should be such a way that it should also increase internal research funding, enable the external research grants, promote. Faculty should be given a training session how to write for the external project, the how to, so that they can get the external projects. For that, they should be given any training session. We should promote multidisciplinary research forums, the interdepartmental, because otherwise people will be working in silos. Interdepartmental session should be held, so that the people will be promoted. There will be research happening in multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary areas. Then advanced research and tech focus should be there in terms of UG and PG research initiatives. That's what I told. Enough project sessions, student projects should be there, so that the students will also be focused towards research. Faculty along with students can publish papers, they can file patents. Then adoption of high-end tech tools can be made use of, and IKS related research. See, if I have to IKS related, encourage IKS based research the projects and publications. Then publish and in Springer's Scopus Index, Web of Science. As you all know, now it's only indexed papers, which are even UGC, the UGC papers and UGC journals are also not being considered. So only the high indexed and impact factor papers are only considered in research. So in this juncture, I can tell you that again, one anecdote comes into me. There was a faculty who used to do excellent in academics. She used to do excellence in everything, whatever she used to do, that is in research papers. So at the end, when she fills in her PBAs, she has everything. She's publishing papers, she is contributing to academics, she is contributing to extracurricular activities, everything she is doing. But then finally, one day her dean called her and told, look, you are good at everything. Do you think that whatever he is doing up to the mark? Then she said, yes, sir. Are you aligning with the IDP? Have you heard about IDP? She said, yes, I have heard about IDP. But I don't know much about it. Then the dean explained to her and told her that, see, research, we are all publishing papers. But now what exactly they're saying is whether your research outcomes are aligned with sustainable SDG goals, whether your research or your academics, your curriculum is aligned with IKS, all these are there. So IDP talks about all these areas. So whether you are able to attain that. So finally, when we know the IDP, we can see that our research topics support institutional priority. Institution has given a priority. Look, should be aligned to IDP. It should be aligned to STP, like that. So your research topics should be such that it supports institutional priorities. Your projects help accreditation and ranking. Your innovation gets recognition and funding. Your efforts are counted, not lost. And your career growth becomes faster and clearer. We have a proper alignment. We have a proper path to choose. So that is where then that faculty realized that, okay, I've been working hard, but in isolation. I was not aware. So next semester, what happened? She started aligning, and then she told her friends also, look, teaching is our duty, but teaching with direction is our power. So that direction came from the IDP. So, and from then on, IDP was no longer a document, it locked in a cupboard, but it became a shared roadmap for every faculty member. So this each area, whatever we are doing, whether it's the IDP, we should see to that it get aligned with it. So this is where research we have all been doing, but our research should be in such a way that the institution should create one IP cell, they should have a research council, all that a proper handholding, then naturally the research of that particular institution will grow. Next slide. Then comes, actually I've split this into two. There's together it is human resource enabler and there is the supportive facilitative enabler, because it is very important one. So I split this into two, but it is only one enabler. Next slide. The role of human resource. When it comes to HR, we think about that HR is only nothing but the how the sourcing has to be done, hiring has to be done. When it is HR's job, not our job. But here also very important thing is where faculty recruitment and retention is very, very important. Whether we are required the qualified and competent faculty aligned with our institutional goal, we should, and we should see that we promote capacity development programs, and that is very important because faculty has to be kept in tune with the newer trends, what is happening. So training and skill enhancement should be there, because skill is one of the most important thing in academic enabler, that is SEC, skill enhancement should be there. And this NEP talks very much about the skill component, that skill, whether we are able to offer skill to the students, and that is very important component, and IDP should also align with that. So unless and until faculty are trained in that skill area, they cannot impart that to the students. Then performance management and appraisal, that is support transparent and outcome based faculty evaluation and recognition. Then leadership development, strengthen the academic and administrative leadership at all level. Employee engagement and motivation, that is enhance institutional culture, commitment and participation in governance. Succession planning and talent management, ensure continuity and sustainability of academic and administrative excellence. Next one. It's IDP here, it talks mainly about strengthen the student empowerment, faculty development, performance evaluation, as well as tech enablement and e-learning. See, it's mainly talks about the people enablement and progress delivered. So this is what I said, both are the same enablers. So here it talks about the supportive and facilitative enabler. When we talk about the supportive and facilitative enabler, it is mainly, next slide. Supportive and facilitative, next slide. Here the 6 verticals are infrastructure and facility management, administrative and operational support, student support services, ICT and digital enablement, knowledge management and dissemination, quality assurance support. So these are the 6 the verticals under the human and supportive and facilitative enablement. That is, when I talk about infrastructure and facility management, it should be in such a way that it ensures efficient provision and maintenance of physical and digital infrastructure. It talks about seamless institutional process, documentation, day-to-day operation, facilitate counseling. There should be counseling session, mentoring, career guidance, and holistic student development. Integrate digital tools to support teaching, learning, research, enhance the record keeping, documentation, very, very important, and assist in implementing policies, monitoring, and continuous improvement initiative. So in a nutshell, if I have to say, this enabler talks about people enablement, progress delivered. That is it, what mainly it talks about. So it is very, very important, because here when an if new academic initiatives are there, then that is very clear. But unless and until human resources are not there, then it will not be human resource and support, and the support is not there, then we cannot take this enabler forward. So for this, the main important thing is that facility management should be there. We should have academic and operational support should be there. Then only it will be possible. Otherwise, unless and until people are empowered, process is enabled, the initiative will not move seamlessly from planning to execution now, achieving measurable outcome within the planned timeline. So the what exactly we have to see is when people are supported and facilitated, institutional goals becomes achievable. This very important punchline, that is, people are supported and facilitated, institutional goals become achievable. That is the most important thing for this enabler to take it forward. So for that, we should see that 6 verticals which are there in this should be taken very seriously. And accordingly, we should be having a short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan. Next slide. So in this, as I said, the main thing is that you should think about robust academic advising for modular learning pathway, structured career counseling aligned with industrial needs, and then mental, because I spoke about counseling and mentoring. Here you should see that the long term, because mental well-being is very, very important for the faculty as well as for the students. So we should see that we should have the counseling area set up with the long-term mental well-being programs, 24/7 access to professional, emotional, and psychological counseling, regular meditation, yoga, and wellness webinars to reduce stress. The planning should be in such a way that then financial support, tailored financial aid and scholarship for the learners, then expand financial aid initiatives for students and faculty, dedicated teams of financial and emotional emergency support. So as I said, every enabler has a linkage. You can see that human and support this enabler cannot function without finance enabler. So finance is also coming in the picture here. And then impact the industry and community partnership, we should have collaboration. So this is again having a linkage with the next enabler, which we'll be talking about, that is collaborative networking and collaborative. So here industry and community partnership also this enabler talks about. So collaborations with companies to sponsor student scholarship, research grants, wellness and development initiative. So overall, the impact of this enabler is that it helps in inclusive learning, emotional resilience, it helps in creating financial security, and overall it helps in career readiness for the faculty as well as in turn for the students also. Next slide. The networking and collaboration enabler. So this is very, very important enabler. Next slide. See, a faculty, the faculty might have an innovative idea, but limited exposure. There are faculty with lot of ideas, but they will be snubbed at different levels. So this many times this can be happy. This can go. The free flow can happen through networking and collaboration. Many times, what happens, what happens is that the faculty might be submitting projects, but the projects are not going through. Why the projects are not going through? Because they might have the expertise, but sometimes the project sanctioning authority will look into it, that whether they had an earlier they were sanctioned some projects or not. So that institution or that department faculty will not have that expertise. Then naturally they can think of collaborating with other universities or other college faculty, and together they can be PI or co-PI and apply for a project. So, or they can actually apply with a project with some industry personnel or a research institute personnel. So this set of collaboration can definitely help in strengthening research. So this collaboration plays a very, very important role. So it is connections convert individual capacity into institutional impact. That is the punchline you should think about. That is, connections convert institutional capacity into individual capacity into institutional impact. So here again there are 6 verticals. That is, it talks about academic partnership, as I said, collaboration with universities and institutions for academic excellence. You can talk about industry engagement. You should have it. It will enhance industry linkages for internships, training, and applied learning. Then research collaboration, so that it promotes joint research, knowledge sharing, and interdisciplinary initiatives. Internationalization, that is, see, till now we used to talk about only nationally. Now, as you are all aware, many international universities have already reached India and have set up the universities. So we should think about tie up with the international universities, so that we can have faculty student exchange in terms of academic exchange as well as in terms of research exchange. So it will help us in supporting global exposure. So you can set up that. Okay, not immediate. In terms of long term, you can think about, we can have the faculty exchange or the student exchange, or a a twinning program we can have, or in terms of research I can have with some foreign universities. So this is how you can plan for your short term, mid term, and long term plan. Then alumni engagement, alumni expertise, and resources for institutional growth. You can plan that nationally. National level alumni will help me in this. Global level alumni will help me, help our, not me, help our institution in so and so area. Then community and societal outreach, very, very important, that we can see that this, then we can see that community and societal outreach, that is, it strengthen institutional contribution to local and regional development. Whether we are catering to that, if not, we should set plans so that we are catering to the local and regional development. Next slide. Was there any, Smriti, was there any question directed towards me? That something came in the share, the chat.
Ma'am, yes, there is some question, but can be taken in the end because it's not
Okay.
related to IDP.
Yeah, fine. So in order to build strong and the strong network and collaborative growth, we should establish advisory council. We should have which should consist of alumni and industry leaders. It should increase student and faculty participation. Then we should strengthen our alumni association by, there should be a strong alumni association which will have a good engagement and communication. Mentoring and recognition should be given to the alumni. Fundraising and global chapters that should be created, so that it will help in strengthening the alumni association. Industry and alumni board and partnership should be there, wherein we should collaborate with industry, then MSMEs and NGOs. Offer skill-based courses should be offered, so for the students, with the help of the industry. The industry advisory board should look into this. Then community and industry engagement should be there, so that it will have the real world initiatives can be taken into account. Societal impact, social impact programs can also be taken into account. So this will help in these things, if we take into account for our short term, mid term, and long term, will help us in strengthening this, which will help this under this enabler, will help us in strengthening the network and the networking and collaboration. Next slide. The next enabler is the physical and infrastructure enabler. So when we talk about this, the next slide. See, whenever we actually, out of enthusiasm as a private university or a private institution, what we do, we can, if we are given an autonomy, we actually start new interdisciplinary program. And with high enthusiasm, we start. And then what we see that if we are not having planning for a good infrastructure, we don't have smart classrooms, well-equipped laboratories or library and collaborative space, then what will happen? Everything will come crashing down. Students cannot experiment confidently, and research cannot happen. And then this initiative, although we plan to succeed, but will not come because of the restrictions which we had. So infrastructure is not just a house education. It should enable it. We should see, does not just house, but we should see that it should be able to enable it, So that's why this is called the physical infrastructure enabler, and how it helps teaching learning environment. In the teaching learning environment, we should see that it should provide adequate classroom should be there. Whenever we are planning any program, we should see to it that we should have an adequate classrooms, laboratories, and learning space. Then research infrastructure support, we should plan for our planning should be such that it should have research infrastructure support. It should have student facilities, and well, we should talk about hostels, libraries, sports, health, and in recreational facilities. Faculty and staff workplaces should be there. I know that some of the government the colleges it will not have, so that we should see to it that faculty and so the staff workspaces should be available as per the planning. Then inclusive and accessible campus, it should we should have promote barrier free access, safety, and inclusivity. Then sustainable campus development, encourage green, very, very important, green, energy efficient, and environmentally responsible practices. Because under the new manual, if you have seen the new binary draft manual, which has come, which is yet to be implemented, which was in circulation, it talks about sustainability as one of the attribute. The last attribute, it talks about the sustainability green initiatives. So we should think about green energy efficient and environmentally responsible practices should be there under our goal. That is very, very important. So the physical infrastructure not only talks about the classrooms or research infrastructure or student facilities, it or the faculty workspaces, it also talks about the accessibility which we are providing to the students for the proper academic the academic outcomes, as well as it talks about a sustainable campus in terms of the green initiatives, which is very, very important. Next slide. So overall, what we talk about is the create tech-driven, smart, and eco-friendly campuses. We should plan for that in our planning so that it can enhance state-of-the-art infrastructure for operational efficiency, resilience, and all. Upgrade the campus facilities. In that, you should see to that the campus facilities can be upgraded through library, these sports, canteens, wherever it is possible. Then strengthen the research resources by boost research resources, libraries, digital the repositories, and academic the automations. Then enhance health and safety system by improving health, safety, and emergency the response systems. Then promote sustainability, upgrade the campus facilities, including the library, and then the boost research resources and improve health, safety, and emergency response system. So I mean to say that it is not that I'm asking you to do this. Your enabler can have, even as I said, everything a government college will not have because you depend on the funds from the government. So you can, that even the NAAC also is aware of it. So what, or the UGC is aware of it. So you can devise that these are the tips which are there in the which is available, which has to be included in this enabler. So you have to look into it under this enabler, what all things you can consider, so that you can plan short term, mid term, and long term. It's not that IDP doesn't say that. IDP say that, look, these are the pointers under each enabler. Accordingly, you can plan. That is what it talks about. Next slide. Next is the digital enabler. Being a tech area, we talk about the tech era, we talk about the AI/ML, all that. So here is the digital enabler, which talks about, again, the learner management systems. It talks about the smart infrastructure. So in a way, it is talking about from access to agility. That is, agility is nothing but the ability and the ability to adapt faster, how faster we can be. So when we talk about blended and outcome-based learning, distance was no longer a barrier now. Now, because there was, after the COVID, we have all tried to, now also we are connected digitally. We have got connected. So through the digital enabler, learning management system, digital libraries, online assessment tools, and digital dashboards are what we are talking about under this enabler. Next slide. So under this, again, you can see that governance had 7 verticals. After that, each of these enablers are having 6 verticals under each. 6 verticals are there under each one. So here, when we talk about technology-based teaching and learning, here we are talking about is that it supports blended online and experiential learning models. It talks about digital academic administration, wherein it enhances the efficiency in admissions, examination, and records. There can be softwares which can help in enhancing your efficiency in all this, because if we still go manually, we will not be able to reach all this. So you can see to it that how phase by phase you can include all this, so that it will help in enhancing your your academic administration, research and knowledge access. So you can have it will be in such a way that it can enable you to access the resources, database, and digital tools. Data driven decision making will enable planning, monitoring, and performance analysis. Then institutional connectivity and outreach, it will be strengthening the collaboration, communication, and visibility to whatever you are doing, so that the outreach will be more. Digital governance and security talks about reliable and it talks about the digital operations. So if they ensure that there should be a secure and reliable, and it will be helping you in the seamless flow of the digital operations. So this is what the digital enabler talks about. Again, I'm telling that all cannot be implemented at one stretch. IDP talks about implementing this in phases in terms of short, the medium, and long term. So you have to plan all this in these three way, whichever is possible. However you can attain it, you can plan it. But a planning in this direction, enablers in each of these enablers should happen under the IDP document. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the 6 verticals, as I spoke about, is that there should be a proper, robust hardware, software, and network connectivity. LMS. This can be the things under your planning. That okay, under my short term, I will plan to have a hardware, software, and network connectivity at this under the short term. That in 2 years I will have this. In 5 years I will have this, like that. Then support LMS, online classes, and digital pedagogy should be there. Seamless academic and administrative processes, I can through e-governance systems I will be able to implement. Provide access to e-journals, database, and repos. So these repositories I'm planning to procure during the first year, during the first 2 years. Afterwards I will procure this, like that. Then support planning, monitoring, and informed decision making will be there. Using the digital management and analytics, it will help. So which management system you're planning to procure, so that I can attain this. Then cyber security and to enhance data security, privacy, and system reliability. For that, yeah, you can plan in such a way that your data which you have made, it can be secure. And as you know, now it is one nation, the one data. So we should see to it that our documentation is strong, so that everywhere, wherever we are sharing, it is the same data which is being shared to all the agencies. Next slide. So the digital enablement plan should be such a way that you should have an LMS, you should talk about the ERP, you should have adopt a data-driven system. So for the enhanced digital and distance learning, we should have a proper LMS, which is must. It talks about that ERP and data-driven decision tools. It talks about so that we can have an analysis of it. And then for all this, we should have a blended learning adoption. Our should be such a way that it's not that we offer everything offline. We should also integrate offline and online. We should develop video lectures, podcast, simulations, and infographics, which is there in the faculty end. So we can not say that, okay, our institution is not having, but we can see to it that through podcast, videos, lectures, which we can have create of our own. Then we can create online courses, which is also, whether we are a government or a private institution, these things are in our hands. So encourage faculty to develop MOOCs, then or create MOOCs of your own wherever you have an expertise. Then partner with Coursera, LinkedIn, and all that, so that the students can get expertise in that, or we can ask them to enroll in these courses. Integrate learning resources. You should see to it that your teaching can be integrated with the utilization of virtual labs and simulation. Engage students with e-resources. These things you can very well look into it. So because improved governance and student engagement can be happening through this digital enablement. The word digital, when we look into it, we think that, okay, how can we get it? Because it's a long way to go, which we cannot attain. Like that, the first thinking comes to our, because lot of finances are required, but there are certain things which are in our hand, which we can easily attain, is through the blended learning approach. Next slide, please. Smriti, next. Yeah. Now, as I said, what is my role in the IDP? Actually, I suggest that each one of you can try to jot down after taking this, and if you can see that two best ideas or from your own end, whether it's government or it's a private institution, for each of this enablement, how can I contribute to it? If we can write two, then naturally this two can multiply into 6 or 8 in due course of time, and that will really a great, because each faculty has a key role to play, because the unless and until faculty join hands, the institution cannot develop that. So each of you can together think about that what you can do for each one. That each group can present this, and then it will naturally take a long way, and we can contribute to our institutional development. Next slide. This is for the activity for you. So the stakeholder has a key role to play. In this, the main role is played by a governing body or management, which provides vision, policy direction, approval, and resource support. Principal or the director can help in leading planning, ensure alignment institutional vision. IQAC, it should coordinate. They have a key role to play. It should coordinate with IDP preparation, ensure quality benchmarks, monitoring and documentation. Faculty and the staff will play a key role in contributing for the academic and administrative input, implement the action plan. Students and alumni will help in providing the feedbacks, expectations, and insight. All this together, one person cannot make this IDP. All these people together has to prepare this IDP, and their key role, if students and alumni, they will provide us the feedback, expectation, insights on learning and progression, which can help us in preparing the IDP. Industry and community will support relevance through partnership, internships, outreach, and societal linkage, because academic enabler talks about internship, so which can be provided through this internship, industry and community. So together, these people will be playing a key role in the preparation of the IDP document. Next slide. So most important thing before you sit forward, you all sit together to prepare this IDP, I request you to do a SWOT analysis of your institution. This SWOT analysis only will help you in preparing for each of the enabler. Each of the enablers should do this. With that, they should go for a S-curve analysis. Then you should roll out a feedback form to the people, try to gather the information, and then sit for the IDP if you have not prepared till now. So the main thing, internal factors, what strategics it will help is experienced and qualified, the qualified faculty, establish learning resources. The weakness will be the limited research funding. Usually, this is what usually we come across. The faculty will be experienced. We have good reputation. We have good governance and leadership. Infrastructure and learning resources are available. But then we see that limited research funding. Everybody will be grabbing mostly. Need for curriculum modernization, gaps in industry exposure, resource constraints will be there. Opportunities will be mostly, we know that we can, if at all we have been given a free hand, we can actually we can implement reforms and multidisciplinary education. We can look for skill-based programs. Industry partnership and collaborations are an opportunity which all academic institutions have. Digital learning and online platform, we can look into it. But the threat is increased competition, changing regulatory policies so frequent, it keeps changing. Today we talk about it, we were talking about perspective, we were talking about strategic, now comes IDP, tomorrow something other will come. Then student mobility and enrollment challenges, there might be few takers, students are there next year admissions because of this, the frequent education policy changes, as well as the new universities which are coming up, all that, then rapid technological changes. So this sort of SWOT analysis can be done. Based on that, you can start preparing your IDP. Next slide. See, the key questions is that the diagnosis, as I said, you should first think about the gap analysis, diagnosis and need analysis. Where do we stand today? Outcome is clear understanding of gaps and strength. Then vision and goal setting you should do. Where do we want to go? Share the institutional goal. Planning and prioritization, where should we do? What we should do first? Focused, realistic action plan should be prepared. Implement, how will we execute it? Planned initiatives put into action. Mentoring, and are we progressing as planned? And improvement, accountability and course correction. See, preparing an IDP plan and keeping it will not be there. You should have this periodical check done, then only the institution can progress, and that is what the NAAC and UGC is looking forward for us to do. Next slide. So the main thing is, as I said, these can be our data source for our IDP preparation, SWOT analysis, and then we should have the SSR and our AQR findings. Where are the gaps, recommendation, quality enhancement? So that areas we align under these enablers, and we can start preparing our IDP plan. Then student and stakeholder involvement and their feedback is very, very important. The satisfaction level and audits, which periodical audits helps us in also preparing a good IDP. Placement and progression data, where our students, see, naturally if our students are not getting placed or our students are not going for higher education, it means that somewhere some gap is there, and we should plan in such a way that they can get placed, and their outcomes, they helps us in proper planning and placing our academics and everything in place. Finally, that is what is the ready reckoner. Even OBE also gives us that only. Their attainment helps us to know that where do they stand. Next slide. So institutional profiling, that is we should have an institutional profiling, that that when was your institution, the year of institution, the establishment of the institution, milestones, each year how our institution has progressed, reputation and institutional ethos. We should also have a list of ready reckoner as the academicians or the IQAC coordinators. We should have the programs offered, how many interdisciplinary courses we are offering, how many value-added courses we are offering. That value-added courses means how we are strengthening giving extra value addition in terms of the already offering academic programs. Then student strength, enrollment trends, diversity, retention and progression, we should always have, because this all helps us in planning ahead. Faculty, what are the qualification, how many PhD holders are there, who are having the expertise in doing good research contributions, faculty development programs, whether we are having capacity development programs offered, all that we should have. Then we should have the infrastructure snapshot, that is our campus area, classrooms, laboratories. Naturally, that will help us in planning ahead. So if these things are in place, naturally it helps in us in planning ahead. Next slide. Here, this is very important. That is in terms of main, as you all know, whatever we talk about, all these enabler we talk about, everywhere we spoke about academics, we spoke about research, we spoke about infrastructure, we spoke about governance. So what is the current status? What is the desired status? What is the gap? That's what I was talking about all the while, that whether any traditional program, whether any innovative programs we are offering, how many interdisciplinary programs we are offering, and what is the outcome-based skill-oriented and multidisciplinary programs are, that is the need of the hour. This desired status is the need of the hour. Then in terms of research, we know that whether the publications are less, we should see to it that our research culture, we should improvise with funded research and innovation. If our infrastructure, we are meeting the bare necessities, we should think about improvising it in terms of smart classroom, advanced labs, and digital library. And if you have a conventional administrative process, we should think about having a participatory and technology enabled governance. So all these gaps we have to identify and think about planning. It's not that we are a government institute, okay, we have limited resources. It's not that. Whatever we are in that existing one also, we can try to improvise on. Next slide. So the institutional goals actually should be a smart one in terms of idea. It should have a clarity. The entire, whether it is IDP or anything, we should be in such a way that we should be up with the trend, whatever is the market needs, whatever is the UGC needs, all that, so that there should be, the goal should be set in such a way that it should be smart. That is, it should be idea oriented, clarity should be there, measurement should be there, it should be feasible, it should be aligned, and everything should be with a timeline. That is very, very important. Then only we will be attain that excellence. Next. So the primary strategic value of an IDP lies in its ability to, you have to answer this. Next slide. Let's see the answers, what they give.
Participants, do share your answers for this question. You can use the chat section. See. Okay. Looking forward. So we got the answer C, and that's correct.
That's the correct answer. Because we know that it has to be that.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, please.
So we know that IDP lies in its ability to evidence-based decision making. And it is mainly, I spoke about that, it is academics, research, and administration.
Right. So this is the question answers round, and like there are no questions related to the topic in the chat section. So if there are any questions, participants are requested to kindly drop your questions in the chat section. We'll be taking them in the end. In the meantime, let's move ahead.
So I would like to say that a IDP is nothing but a structured roadmap, and it is essential for achieving a planned, measurable, sustainable institutional growth. And when priorities are guided by evidence, and aligned with the long-term goals, then naturally institutions are better equipped to enhance the quality, respond to emerging challenges, and ensure continuous improvement. And it is all in our hands. So if the faculty can align with the IDP, then they can gain visibility, recognition, support, and faster professional growth, while also in turn, it will help our institution, and in turn, we can be proud of our institution. So this, because ultimately we are also a part of it. And that helps, and we feel proud. Okay, I'm working for that institution which is known for the quality. Next slide. So as you all know, now we are getting the earlier NAAC assessment system. Now there is going to be a change. And still now it is all in the fluid state, but a draft manual is already being circulated. And we are knowing that we are transforming into binary accreditation framework. So this framework emphasizes transparency, then simplification, evidence-based evaluation. And there are a lot of this one. Because of that, they're trying to do away, but still they have not done away with the peer team visit, but it is going to be a hybrid in some cases, because as you all know, it is going to be a 5 level. That is, one is emerging. Emerging will be fully based on it will be on the remote. There won't be any peer team. That is what as of now they say. Then comes the second level will be developing. Third level will be established. But I came to know there are rumors that even if a institution wants to go, those who are A plus plus or whatever, and if they want to go into an advanced level, that is level 4. Level 4 is called the national level. If you're planning to go for that level, again you have to go for the binary. And if they are seeing that okay, you are more than the binary level, then you can opt for the advanced level. And when you go for the advanced, global is way high. We can't think about now. That is the level 5. If you have to go for level 3 or level 4, there might be it will be in the blended mode, that hybrid mode. That is, there will be some part of peer team visit. That is what all the rumors in air. I'm not a person to talk about that, but this is what it is. But whatsoever it is, let us be prepared. Let us keep the draft manual in hand, and with the help of the draft manual, let us work and see our institution. Anytime the manual comes, we will be able to be in, because we don't know whether how much time period they will give, whether it is for 3 years or it is 5 years. Let us work and keep all our documents in place so that whenever it comes, we can seamlessly, because when anytime 3 year or 5 year data, we cannot go and correct it. So for that reason, we should actually see to it that we are already working whenever the manual comes, so that we can be in pace with it. So naturally, the true accreditation lies not in the score, but in how effectively an institution transforms learning into measurable impact. That is very important. We should not think about our scores. We should think about how we are marching towards the excellence. Next slide. NAAC is mandatory because it helps us in, without NAAC accreditation, we cannot say that we are a known, renowned institution. So it helps us in the students to get scholarship, new programs introduction. It helps us in interstate admissions, government funds, because all that is dependent on the NAAC, the accreditation only. Autonomy, it is being given, the deemed status is being given. You have a credibility, as I already spoke about. For parents and students, they look forward for that, and eligibility for the placements. All this, if you are accredited by NAAC, then only you will be able to march ahead. Next slide. As per the old versus, as you are all aware, the main thing is that the old NAAC had 7 attributes. Now the new NAAC has 10 attributes. And remember that, as I've been telling, IDP also I told about that the main thing, the new NAAC manual or the entire thing, NEP, everything which insists is, it talks about input, it talks about process, it talks about outcome and impact. Impact, it is the last one thing, that is uniqueness and situateness it talks about. uniqueness, what unique you are. So main thing it talks about is impact, input, process, and outcome. That is, so input, process, outcome is very, very important under the new NAAC manual. So that is what it talks about. So the 10 attributes which has been split up, it is more or less aligned with our IDP. And if we keep all this, naturally we can talk about excellence. So still we don't know whether it is going to be 3 year. If the talks are there, it is going for 3 years data. So let's us not wait for that to come. Let us, our preparation should be in progress, because I keep seeing in the group, people keep asking when is the manual coming. Let us not wait for the manual to come. Let our preparation be there as if we are going for NAAC. Whenever NAAC is, we should be prepared for NAAC. Like that, our preparation should be. Next. Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Asha, for this insightful and enriching, session on institutional development planning. And we all truly actually appreciate the clarity and the practical perspective you have brought to such a crucial area of institutional growth. And I'm sure that today's discussion has helped us all gain a clearer understanding of how a well-designed institutional plan strengthens long-term planning by aligning an institution's vision, mission, and goals with structured processes, measurable actions, and sustainable outcomes. And this is where, Luneblaze support institutions as a quality partner in this journey. For over 9 years now, we have been working closely with the higher education institutions to help translate frameworks such as NDP 2020, NAAC expectations, and strategic planning, requirements into practical and implementable systems. Our approach supports institutions across the full IDP cycle, right from planning and goal setting to the documentation, reviews, monitoring, and continuous improvement. We help institutions organize evidence effectively, track workflows across the academic and administrative functions, and ensure that planning remains dynamic and actionable rather than static. In addition, we conduct monthly training webinars to facilitate, review discussions and support institutions through audit and quality review, helping them stay aligned with IDP, IQAC, and the NAAC expectations. Most importantly, our, continuous expert support enables institutions to navigate every step of their development journey with clarity and confidence. In short, Luneblaze helps institutions move beyond compliance towards building a robust system that supports strategic growth, accountability, and sustained quality enhancement. Right on your screen, we are sharing a link that allows you to create a free demo account on the Luneblaze portal, where you can explore the tools and the frameworks discussed today at your own pace. So moving ahead, we are proud to share that we are partnered with around 50 institutions, the 50 higher education institutions, supporting them in their, journey for the NAAC. And towards quality assurance, strategic planning, and academic excellence. This includes some reputed institutions like Windia Group of Institutions, Institute of Teachers Education, CBS College of Pharmacy and Technology, Aravali Group of Institutions, and PTRR Group of Institutions, and several other across India. And we do look forward to extending the same level of commitment and support to your institution as well, helping you build structured, sustainable, and outcome-oriented systems that strengthen both institutional development and accreditation readiness. If you'd like to know more and explore how Luneblaze can support your institutions in the NAAC needs, we'd be happy to connect and continue the collaboration. You can feel free to reach out to us, on the numbers mentioned. And moving ahead, this upcoming slide, this is basically the NAAC webinar series, which is conducted by Luneblaze, designed to support the institutions in different key areas of quality assurance and the accreditation. And today's session in January focuses on the IDP, Institutional Development Plan, a critical framework for the strategic planning, governance, and the long-term institutional growth. Looking ahead, our upcoming webinar in February will focus on the Indian Knowledge System, IQAC, an important area aligned with the vision and priorities of the National Education Policy. And we do invite you all to continue engaging with this webinar as well. And we look forward to your participation to this webinar as we collectively work towards strengthening quality and excellence in the higher education. So finally, moving ahead, now this is the question answers round. We'll now, unmute the participants, and one by one, you can ask your questions from ma'am, if any. So we have some questions in the chat section as well, and still we are unmuting you all. So if there is anything, Mr. Manu, if you can unmute yourself and discuss, it would be great if possible.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And thank you, Asha ma'am, for the insightful session.
Thanks so much.
That's been, very helpful. So as I've actually typed in the message section, would it be adequate enough for IQACs to just go through the regular AQAR documentation processes as we prepare for the the upcoming new system that is to be launched? Or do we have to do something more? And if we were to do something more, how do we go about it in terms of documenting it? Because we don't have the metrics just as yet.
Yes. See, what you can do is as of now, we don't have the metrics. We have only the draft manual. What you can do, the present AQAR for your own institutional purpose, you can prepare and keep, and you can see that what are the gaps. Because unless and until we prepare the AQAR, we don't know what gap, where we stand.
Okay.
In that way, we always, and most of the, in that, some parameters are already there in the new RF system, the binary accreditation framework also. But it is still more exhaustive. So what you can do it, that also you can prepare and keep, just for the sake where we stand, we'll know. If we were going for the previous one, what would have been our bench, according to the benchmark, where do we stand, we come to know. And as per the new binary, the accreditation framework which has come, there also you should see to it that you should keep that manual and you should start working towards it, because suddenly, as you have been seeing in reading in the news, there are, because as soon as our accreditation, that expiry date over, they're giving us only 3 more months. Some institutions I've read in the newspaper, they've given only 3 more months for us to go for NAAC. If such a call comes, then we should be prepared for any exigencies. So for that reason, I feel that we should keep the new binary accreditation framework, and we should prepare our institution as IQAC coordinators. We should prepare our institution towards that.
Okay.
So we cannot say, no, we were ignorant, we didn't know, and give us more time, because that will affect our institution in terms of getting grants and all. So both the AQR will help us, as per the previous RAF, it will help us in knowing where we stand in terms of the gaps, and the new one will help us in preparing ahead. Because any which ways, 3-year period or 5-year period, this academic session will be counted. So we should see that we are attaining the benchmark. We can keep our benchmark and we can start preparing for that. And this IDP is definitely this one which will help us in sailing through, because it covers entire thing. And this is going to be playing a major thing. And it is, I don't know either I could reach out to all of you to that your expectations, because it's a bulkier one, 8 enabler. And planning to that, it is very well. So I just gave some pointers to you, because it is too bulky and too heavier document to digest at one instant.
Ma'am, can I just add one small question?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you for the answer to that previous question. Just a quick question on, do you feel that it would be wise at this stage, before the BAF system is launched, to go for an ERP? College doesn't have an ERP system, but we are looking at the possibility of going for it. Do you suggest that the BAF come out first and then we look towards how that needs to be aligned to the new system?
Sir, if I have to answer to your question, see that I understand that investing in ERP, which is there in the market, so that I don't have a say in that. But one thing, one ERP for your student cycle, faculty cycle, definitely you can go for it, because that will help you in data collection. That is as per your IDP. IDP, I'm not talking about the as per the binary accreditation framework. I'm talking about your internal documentation. You can definitely go for an ERP for the internal documentation in terms of students cycle, faculty performance, all that. But because that can always be an addition for your BAF2 also.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
We have someone from Director IQAC also posted the question. If you can unmute, please. We have someone from Director IQAC.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, so they're asking about, will the new proposed bill impact the NAAC?
Impact?
NAAC.
No, I could not get it. New?
The new proposed bill impact the NAAC.
See, that we don't know. That is at the, at the main level, political level. We don't know when it has to be going to be implemented. That's what I'm saying for quality. You see, quality is, it should become, it's not an habit, it should be an act. That's what I believe in. So we should not wait for all that. When we have something in hand, we should work on it. Whether it is going to be, the bill has to be passed or not, sometime anyway it will come up. But that time we should not be in a haste to work on it, and we cannot go back and correct anything. That is what it is. We cannot go back and correct it, because everywhere, because whether it is NIRF and all, yearly we are submitting the data. So we cannot, and at that time we are not attaining the benchmark, we are going to be the losers. So whether the bill is passed or not, we should not bother about that. We should continue with our quality work. That's what I can say at this instant.
To all the other participants, please feel free to reach out. You can unmute yourself one by one and take your questions. Gulshan Sagar sir, do you want to discuss anything?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, yes.
I am audible, ma'am.
You are audible, sir.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, yes. My question is that why private and government profession not received reasonable salary in India, and on the other hand, physics wala CEO Alak Pandey had annual remuneration of approximately Indian rupee 4.57 crore rupees, and his note VAT is Indian rupee 14,510 crore rupees, which is more than Shahrukh Khan. That's my question, ma'am.
So this is not under my purview, because the private government salary, all that, this is salary is not under my purview.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
I'm
So,
sorry.
Mr. Fahad, your hand is raised. If you want to discuss anything, you can please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, in most of the platforms like NAAC and in IDP also, there is a point that is we should have a strong research culture. I want to know the exact meaning of the research culture, because in one institute, we have faculties whose publications are very high in numbers. They are filing patents, they are getting good number of publication. In NAAC also they are matlab, counting the data as per the faculty publications, but the zero publication and zero patents related to students. So is it good research culture?
No, sir. Now the thing is that is what it is saying. Research culture, it talks about promoting research in terms of, it is that in terms of quality research, in terms of good Q1, Q2 publications, Scopus index publications. If you're publishing, it has to be in index journals only, that is Scopus and Web of Science. You should have good extramural projects, funded agencies. You should involve all your students also into promote research. Students should be also part of the research. In that interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary research is a must, and you should look into it that it is, see, however good an institution may be, but I doubt whether all your faculties are into research. All the faculties should be involved in research. That is what it talks. It's not that 1 or 2 persons are involved in research. And patents also, the earlier filed, we used to get some marks. Now no more marks are there. It is only for patents granted and how much commercialization, how many startups have come into the into fray in your campus. So all this is put together called the research culture.
No, ma'am.
Promote research.
My question is slightly different. How NAAC is distinguishing, how NAAC is identifying that the research culture of this institute is good or not? Because most of the faculty, suppose we have 70 faculty staff, 70 faculty count, and almost all faculty, approx 60 faculties are involving in research and publication and patents, but zero student have publication, no contribution in publication from student side, no patent contribution from student side. Then in this case also, is our institute comes under
Yes,
good
that's what I
research
told.
culture?
60 out of 70. In that, for each of the, suppose patents you're talking about, there will be a benchmark for it. So if the benchmark is, as of now, your question is whether if you're not at all involving students, then also are we going to get the NAAC? As of now, NAAC has not given any parameter wherein students, how many publications by students. But of course, in research, there will be there in whether in terms of awards, how many awards and recognition in terms of awards and recognition received by students. If that parameters are there, in that, as of now, in the earlier, the RAF was there. Na? In that revised accreditation framework, there was no marks allocated for the students' research publications. That is where the faculties were not involving students into research. But of course, in the academics part, they are academics curriculum, they are looking into it, how many students are contributing to whether the academics part, we are relating it to we are involving students into research. There only the question is, but under the research, as of now, there are no specific marks allocated for student research publications. But as of now, when your actual research culture will be there if we are involving students into it, because students' participation into research is a must, and surely under the level 4, if you are going for, if you are looking for level 4, they will look into it, that whether your students are being involved into research. In the upcoming manual, it will definitely come into it. But as of now, there is no, we have not got a detailed metrics wherein it talks about students' involvement into research, but the rumors are there that students' involvement in research will definitely come into the picture, and IDP also talks about that. Hope
Okay,
I made
ma'am.
it
Thank
clear.
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? If there are any questions, please feel free to unmute. Ma'am, I believe there are no further questions. Let's move ahead then. All right then, thank you so much. As we are coming to the close of today's webinar, we extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Asha Rajiv for sharing such insightful perspectives and practical guidance on institutional development planning. Ma'am, your session has clearly highlighted how a well-structured institutional development plan enables institutions to align their vision and mission with long-term goals, strengthen governance and quality systems, and move towards sustainable and outcome-oriented institutional growth. We would also like to thank all the participants for joining us today. Your active presence and engagement have made this session more meaningful and enriching. Now, we hope today's discussion have provided you with a greater clarity and confidence in conceptualizing, developing, and implementing an effective IDP within your institution. So before we conclude, we kindly request you to share your feedback through the link provided in the chat section. You can also share your feedback, through the links that will be shared in the webinar NAAC webinars group. Your inputs are extremely valuable and help us continuously improve the relevance and effectiveness of our webinars. Participation certificates will be emailed to your registered email IDs within the coming week, and the webinar recording will also be shared in the coming week. At Luneblaze, we remain committed to supporting higher educational institutions in areas such as IDP, quality insurance, NEP 2020 implementation, and NAAC-related processes. And we do look forward to partnering with you in strengthening systems of planning, accountability, and continuous quality enhancement. We wish you all continued success in your academic and institutional endeavors. Thank you once again for being a part of today's webinar, and we look forward to welcoming you all to our upcoming webinars. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you all. I thank Luneblaze as well as for all the participants for the patient listening. And I would like to share, like Luneblaze Smriti, to share the feedback with me so that I can improvise also. Thank you all.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.